Hi, it's Lee from colouringqueen.net, and today I'm colouring from my new book, Loving Bloom by Alli Koch. And this book has perforated pages, so I'm going to gently tear out the page and colour it on my mat. Now, I had hoped to do something different with this picture, but I have gone to my comfort level and I think I'm going to colour with my Prismacolors because on reflection the picture that I chose has quite a lot of detail. So I'm going to colour in all of this text with either red or hot pink pen, and I'll see how it looks at the end. I don't know that I've got any like really fine markers to colour around these letters. That's why I thought I would go with pen, but I'm not sure how it will look at the end. And then because this book has the most beautiful black velvet pages, I thought I'd colour the background in a black marker. But that's why I got overwhelmed and decided to not do what I had planned, because I thought just colouring the background and all of these text, the Love Me Nots, is going to take me a while. And it did. But not nearly as long as it took me to carefully colour with too large of a nib. With the Sharpie there, so I won't bore you with how long this background in Sharpie took, and I just wish that I had a smaller range of Sharpies that had a finer point so I could get around all the little nibs. And on reflection, I'm wondering if the black background was a really good idea or not, but I'm in too deep now, so I will go and finish the background offline. So now I'm back and I want to colour these flowers, and I'll just colour one here with you, and then I'll colour the rest off screen, because otherwise we're going to be here forever. And so I want them to be sort of like a pinky colour. I had thought red in the beginning, but then I was worried that it might not stand out enough with all this black I've put on the background. But so I've decided on a reddy pink. So I'm going to start off with the Carmine Red from Prismacolor, and I'm hoping against hope that I finally stop just colouring everything and leave enough white space. So in the beginning here, I'm just going to put some long strokes in, because when you look at these petals in real life, and I've grown these sort of poppies before in the garden in a variety of colours, when you look at the actual petals, they've got like these thin veins on them, and so I want to try and replicate that with the pencils and see if I can. Now the Prismacolors are going really well on this paper, and I'm going to follow that up with some pink and just basically go over the long strokes and just extend the long strokes even further, so you get that sort of build up of like lots of little veiny lines, so it does look like a little petal hopefully. And I hope I just leave that white space so that there's a highlight in the middle, because I have this nasty habit of just colouring everything, and unless you leave that white space or contrast, you just don't get the effect of the light or how it looks in real life. So I'm going to go over with the blush pink now, and again just extend those long strokes out on the petal, and just basically build up this little layer of different colours, and hope it turns out to be a beautiful, delicate looking petal at the end. So back with the Carmine Red and just building up more of those little tiny edges. And the trick is to try and get this flower as delicate as possible and not be so rough and tumble and heavy-handed as I like. And I'm looking at my background now, and I think it was actually a mistake to do that in pen, so I think I might, before this picture finishes, I think I might go over it in Texture and see if I can make it a bit smoother looking. So I'm going to go in now with Scarlet Lake and just add a little bit more, darkening it up a little bit. I'm kind of wishing I hadn't have done the pen now. It's going to be a lot of work going over all of those letters at the end. But anyway, live and learn, hey? But at least it's going on really well on the paper. And you might have seen Millie came and visited a minute ago and gave her paw of approval. Well, she didn't actually put a paw on it, but she did bump the camera. So if you're wondering where Millie is, she's come to visit for the day. So it's looking pretty delicate now. So the trick is just to keep it looking delicate. And so I'm going to go back in here with that pink and just, basically just keep doing the same thing and just hope that I don't do too much. So I hope that you guys are all having a lovely day. And it's a beautiful day here today in Brisbane. I tell you what though, have you ever got an earworm? David mentioned this song to me last night and I cannot get it out of my head. So back here with the Scarlet Lake, with the Carbon Red. Yeah, he mentioned to me that there was a remix of Suzi Quatro's song Stumbling In. And we ended up finding it on YouTube and he said how good it was. And so we listened to it last night. And of course, I cannot get that song out of my head. I think I've been listening to it since 6 a.m. this morning. The neighbours, I think, are just fed up with hearing it. And even Millie and Buddy were just looking at me like going, enough, Mum, with the song. It's just too much. I tried listening to other things to get the earworm out of my head, but it just would not go. So I don't know, when I finish this, I might have to put it on again. But I remember Suzi Quatro, as a child. So yeah, I'm definitely aging myself there. And I don't know what this is here. I think I need to go back and put some more black there. I'm not sure if I've missed a bit or if that's part of the petal, but anyway, we'll see. So I'm going to go around all the edges here in the Carmine Red and just do some really long strokes and try and get that sort of feathery, veiny look that the little petals have without colouring too deeply and without blending too much, so that it still retains the strokey sort of veiny look, if that makes sense. So just go around and do all of these and just keep repeating with the pink, the blush pink, the Scarlet Lake and the Carmine Red over and over. Yeah, so I remember Suzi Quatro from when I was a kid. She was just so different from other music that we'd listened to as a child, and with her leather outfits and her hair and playing the bass guitar, and it was just so different as a child to see Suzi Quatro. And she's actually playing in Brisbane in a few months' time, so we're thinking about maybe we should go and sort of have a little bit of a nostalgia evening if we can find a pet sitter and go out and have a look at Suzi Quatro live, and maybe they'll do the remix of this song that's stuck in my head, and might have a hope of getting it out. Who knows? Who knows at all? But this picture, it looked like it wouldn't be that long to take, but I tell you what, that background, that really took me so long. But luckily I had some good podcasts and videos on in the background, and I could just colour it and listen to you guys and everyone else that I like to listen to in the background when I'm colouring in. So at least I get to catch up on the news, I guess, and catch up on music and whatnot. So going back in here with that blush pink and just trying not to colour over all of the white because I want to still get these highlights. I tend to colour everything in sight and never leave a highlight or anything, and yeah, I'm really trying to get out of that nasty habit this year, so we'll see. It's not really nasty, I'm only joking, but we'll see if I manage it or not. And I've got my little supervisor Millie here to tell me if I'm doing a good job or not. If not, she'll give me a paw slap, I guess. So, or she'll take my pencils. Who knows? Who knows with that little cat. So this weekend we are off to the Gold Coast. We're having a little weekend away. That's south, if you're south from where we're living. So going back in here with the Carmen Red and just extending out some more of those little strokes. So we're going to go down to the Gold Coast. We were going to go last week, but it was pouring rain yet again. So summer, just constant raining. I don't know what's going on. Our pool overflowed yet again. I think it's like the third time this year. And water everywhere. But so we abandoned the mission last weekend and we went to the Botanical Gardens in Brisbane instead, which is absolutely beautiful if you haven't been there. They are doing some construction work, but it is really lovely, and we'd gone there after it had been raining, and it was still really lovely as well. It's funny, one of David's workmates said to him when he told him about the going to the Botanical Gardens, he said, you should go there at 11 o'clock at night and you can feed the possums. And David said, what do I want to do that for? I've got 3 living in the garage at home. Because our possums have not moved out. David built them a little townhouse and they're still living there. They don't want to leave, and they've moved into the garage now. So when he goes in to get his tools and whatnot out, they're just sort of sitting there watching him. And sort of, I don't know how we've ended up with these pet possums, but we've got 2 frogs that are living in the pool that we keep scooping out, and we've got the blue-tongued lizard, we've got the kookaburra, and the 3 possums. We've got something else. Bats. I don't know. We're getting so many critters around here. It's not funny. But so this weekend we're going to go down to the Gold Coast and have a look down there. If we've got time, we might go to the Currumbin Bird Sanctuary and have a look at the birds. But quite frankly, we've got enough birds around here. I don't need to pay money to go in and look at it anymore. So we might do that. So I'm still getting some white highlights and spaces here. I've left that intentionally because I'm going to come through and put some white on, and I've just added another layer of screen, and I've still got these little white highlights here with those little strokes, which is just what I wanted. Honestly. So now I'm going to go in with my lime peel and do these stems, which are very, very tiny. They're very, very thin, these stems, and I really need a sharp pencil for this. So because they're so thin on this bit, I just want to use, 1 or 2 colours. I don't want to do too much. But looking at it now, I think I really made a mistake doing the black background, because one of the really small budded flowers there on the left, you can barely see it up against the black background. It's like really blended in. So I think if I'd chosen something like a light blue instead, it would have been better, because then the little flower would have stood out. So that was a little bit of a learning experience there, but never mind. And with these stems and whatnot, I want to leave some white, so we have some highlights here up against this big black background that, on reflection, I shouldn't have done. But I think I was inspired by those beautiful velvet pictures in the book and thought I would do something like that. But never mind. Never mind. Hopefully it'll work out, even with all of these little errors and whatnot. We'll see. We'll see. So I'm going to use my Prussian green as a darker colour here, just to add a bit of shading down the side. So we'll probably go to the beach down at the Gold Coast, and there's a few really big parks that I want to look at. But more importantly, we've seen some houses that we liked the look of online, and we sort of just want to have a look at the areas and work out, you know, if any of those houses or areas are areas that we would like to live in if we were planning to move. So just adding a bit of white in here. I really want to keep this light so it doesn't blend into the background, and I don't want to risk putting too much dark green in case you can't see these delicate little tendrils or leaves or little bud leaves coming off this beautiful flowers here. So I just want to be really gentle and light so you can still see it. And for some reason, this is not showing up on camera as bright as it is in real life. I don't know, I might have to take the finished picture out in the sun and photograph it there. But for some reason, it's way brighter in real life. It's so I don't know what's going on with the lighting. I use an overhead light, so I'm not sure what's going on here, but it is so bright in real life and I just don't get it. But I might end up taking a picture outside, which is sometimes what I do. Sometimes people have commented that the picture looks different from the one on the video, and there's often a couple of reasons for that. Either I've added extra layers off screen so you don't see me doing another layer because it's kind of boring just going over and over. I just show you sort of once and I might go back and add a bit more off screen. Or I've taken it outside to photograph because if I'm not happy with the lighting. And so as I suspected here, you really can't see this poor little flower up against this busy background, especially because I've added the black, so it's sort of hard to distinguish it. Never mind. Poor little flower. Yeah, so while we're down there, we've got a few suburbs in mind that have become our favourites because of their proximity to the beach for David and Buddy, who both love going to the beach. Me, not so much. I like walking on the beach. I wouldn't swim in the ocean because I really am a lousy swimmer, and I just wouldn't swim in the ocean at all. It's just not for me. So places where there's some great beaches for David, he loves to body surf, and for Buddy, so we need a doggy beach, and places that have got some really nice parks because I like going for walks in the park and things like that. So places with good parks and some cool coffee shops. I'm really fussy about my coffee shops. I like them to be like the sort of hole-in-the-wall coffee shops, small business, not chain store coffee shops, not your Starbucks or anything like that. I like little hole-in-the-wall sort of cute little coffee shops. So yeah, hopefully the suburbs that we've picked and what we've researched online, we'll be able to find a suburb and a house, just even a suburb at this rate, because I am so sick of looking, that sort of ticks those boxes, and then we can just narrow down and write down the streets and just keep an eye out, I guess, on things that might come up, you know, that might hit our budget that we can move to, because David's work is all sort of changing and most of the work will be down on the Gold Coast. And if we stay here, some days it might take him a couple of hours to get home, so be just like too much travel. It might be 2 to 4 hours depending on the traffic. Some days him travelling, and he really doesn't want to do that, so we're thinking it would be just easier for him if we moved there. So I've coloured the rest of the flowers off screen, and as I suspected, the little one on the left, it's really hard to distinguish it with the busy background. I might need to erase some out of there just so that it's more white, just so that we can actually sort of see more of that poor little flower. So I've already added a layer of little fine strokes to this poppy, but I'm just going back and doing another layer of little fine strokes. And in the meantime, I've coloured those centres with lime peel and with Russian green as well, Prussian green, sorry, and a bit of black on the end. So I'm just going to go through very quickly and add all of those colours again that I added, that you see me add the first time, but just making sure that I try and keep the white space and try and keep the sort of strokey look so that I get that sort of little veiny, delicate look that these flowers are pretty well known for. So I'm going to speed it up now, and you can see exactly what I coloured earlier, just again. So now I am going to colour these centres. So first of all, lime peel, and then the Prussian green down the bottom just to give it a bit of depth and around the sides. And then I'm going to spark it up with a bit of black just so that it really pops out. And that should be in a sort of stark contrast to the delicacy of those little tiny delicate little petals. I really can't understand why on video it's not looking as bright as it is. I'm going to have to take this outside to photograph because it is so bright in real life. So I'm just going on with my Arteza gel pen now. Out of all the gel pens I have tried, and everyone always talks about such good things with gel pens, Jelly Rolls, Signos, whatever, I've never had any luck with them. Poscas, I just get a great big blob of white. These are the best gel pens I have in my collection. I use them all the time. I bought a box of 12. They come in different sizes. I bought them because that's all they had at Amazon one day, and they are fantastic. So here is the finished picture. I've ended up going over it with a pink and a red marker because I felt the pen was a bit scratchy, and I have photographed it outside because for some reason it is just not showing up as bright as it is in real life. So that's it from me. Until next time, stay safe and happy colouring.